All right, let's get right into it. If you're managing AWS CloudTrail across a big, sprawling organization, you already know the struggle. How are you supposed to handle all that security logging and auditing without creating massive bottlenecks or, even worse, security risks? So today, we're going to break down a key feature designed to solve that exact problem, the CloudTrail Delegated Administrator.
Just think about it for a second. That main all-powerful management account, the root of your entire AWS organization. Are you using it for just routine, day-to-day CloudTrail tasks? If your security team is constantly having to ask for access or wait around for changes, you've probably got a bottleneck. And that's not just slow, it's a genuine security risk.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the problem itself, then we'll introduce the solution, the Delegated Administrator. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty, what it can do, how you actually set it up, we'll touch on a related feature, and then wrap up with why this all really matters for your cloud strategy.
Okay, so first things first. Let's really nail down what the problem is here. At its heart, it's the old habit of centralizing every single CloudTrail admin task in the one account that is the most powerful, most privileged account in your entire AWS setup.
Look, every single time you use that management account for something that isn't absolutely critical, you're putting your most sensitive credentials at risk. It's kind of like using the master key to open every single door in the building. You just don't do it. And on top of that, it just slows everything down. Your security and ops teams need to get things done, but they're stuck waiting in line for the one person with the keys to the kingdom.
So how do we fix this? Well, AWS has a pretty slick solution. Let's introduce the Delegated Administrator, a feature built specifically to spread out these responsibilities in a way that's secure and totally controlled. So what does that actually mean? Basically, it's a regular member account that you kind of promote to have special privileges just for CloudTrail. This account can then go in and manage all the organization-wide trails and event data stores, and here's the best part. It can do it without ever needing to log into that main management account.
And here's a great way to think about it. The management account is the CEO, right? It has the final say, the ultimate authority and ownership over everything. The delegated administrator, that's your trusted VP of security. The CEO empowers the VP to handle the day-to-day security operations, but the CEO still holds the ultimate power and, of course, owns everything the company creates.
And, just like any VP, the delegated administrator has a lot of power, but there are also clear lines they can't cross. So let's get into the details of what this role can, and maybe more importantly, what it can't do.
This table lays it all out beautifully. This whole idea of separating duties. So you can see the delegated admin can handle the core, everyday stuff, like creating and deleting organization trails and event data stores. But the big strategic moves? Nope. Those are still locked down with the management account. The delegated admin can't add or remove other admins, and they can't turn on pricey or advanced features like insights.
And this brings us to a really critical point, the difference between ownership and management. It doesn't matter what the delegated administrator creates, a new trail, a data store, whatever. The ultimate owner is always the management account, and that's a huge safety net.
Oh, and here's another key thing to remember. You can't just go wild and create a bunch of these. An AWS organization is capped at a maximum of 3 CloudTrail delegated administrators at one time, so it really makes you think carefully about who gets these keys.
All right, that's enough of the what. Let's get into the how. How do you actually set this thing up? It's actually super straightforward, so let's walk through it.
If you're using the AWS console, this is, well, it's about as easy as it gets. You just sign in with that main management account. You buzz on over to the CloudTrail settings page, hit Register Administrator, and then you just paste in the 12-digit ID of the account you want to give these powers to. Seriously, that's it.
And hey, for all of you out there who live in the terminal or are automating everything with infrastructure as code, of course there's a CLI command for that. You just run register-organization-delegated-admin, pass in the account ID, and you're good to go. Clean, simple, and perfect for scripting.
And what about getting rid of one? Yep, just as simple. You go back to that same CloudTrail settings page, you'll see a list of who your admins are. You just pick the one you want to remove, click the button, confirm, and boom, the permissions are gone instantly. And you guessed it, there's a CLI command for that too. deregister-organization-delegated-admin, so you have total programmatic control over the whole lifecycle of these roles.
Okay, so while you're hanging out on that CloudTrail settings page, you're probably going to see something else called service-linked channels. It's connected to all this, so let's just take a quick second and figure out what that is.
So, a service link channel. Think of it as a special pre-built pipeline. The key thing here is you don't make these. Another AWS service, like AWS Config or Security Hub, sets it up automatically to get the exact CloudTrail events it needs to do its job.
And in the console, you can actually peek inside these channels. You can see things like its name and ARN, which AWS service is managing it, and you can see exactly what kind of management or data events it's pulling in. It's a great way to see what's happening under the hood.
Okay, let's pull all of this together now. We've talked about what it is and how to set it up, but the big question is, why should you care? Why does this actually matter for your organization's security and strategy? Well, the benefits are pretty huge, actually. First off, and this is the big one, you're dramatically cutting down the risk to your management account. Second, you make your whole operation more efficient by getting rid of those bottlenecks. Third, you empower your security experts to actually do their jobs. And finally, and this is crucial, you ensure continuity. And that last point about continuity, it is so important we have to highlight it again. The documentation says it perfectly. Removing a delegated administrator account does not delete any CloudTrail organization resources they created. This means if a person changes roles, your logs are safe. Your auditing and logging are never interrupted. It's a massive deal.
And really, that brings us right to the heart of it. This isn't just some random feature, it's a fundamental pattern for better cloud governance. The tools are there, they're easy to use, and the payoff is massive. So the real question I'll leave you with is this: how are you going to use this to level up your own cloud security posture?